Welcome back, class. So last time we started with the basics of the transformation of the continuous time signals. We learned about the time transformations and the amplitude transformation, right? So we have seen different kind of operations like for the time transformations. We can perform the different kind of the operation in terms of the time, and then for the amplitude transformation, we also have seen that we can perform the amplitude transformation in terms of the different operations. Okay, so like this one. Okay, so we've seen different examples. So this part of the lecture is actually about the signal characteristics. Okay, now we want to characterize the signals. Characterization means what are the different properties of the signal. Okay, we have seen the transformations. So now let's see, have a look at the characteristics of the signal. So we can characterize the signals, okay, into two basic. We can divide the signals into two basic categories. It's called even and odd signals. So even signal is a signal or function is said to be even. Okay, like if you are performing the time deflection on the signal, you will get the same signal. Okay, so for example, let's say you have this input signal, okay, x of t. Okay, now if you perform the time deflection on this signal, so what will happen? Time deflection means you are reflecting in time. Okay, this reflecting in time around the vertical axis. Okay, so this part, okay, it will go to this side. Okay, so you this one, and this part will go to this side. Okay, so here we will having this one. Okay, so this is the reflected signal. So if you see that your input signal, this x of t, and your reflected signal, they are same. Okay, so if a signal has such characteristics that it has this uh, symmetric form. Okay, symmetric form means, okay, that around the origin, okay, it has the same shape on this side and this side. Okay, and then if we take its time reversal, we will get the same signal. Such kind of signal is called even signals. Okay, so this is the example of the continuous time signal. And if you talk about the sequence or the discrete time signals, so we know that discrete time signal will present using x of n. So we will have this definition. So for example, this side, if you reflect, it will go to this side, and if you reflect this one, this will come to this side. So it will remain same. If a signal exhibits such kind of properties, okay, it's called an even signal. Okay. Then like if you are having the opposite, okay, that first you are doing the time reversal, and then you are doing the amplitude reversal. Okay, then you are getting the original signal, then that signal will be an odd signal. Okay, so this is an example of the odd signal. Okay, for example, in this signal, okay, first you have to do the time reversal. Okay, so if you perform the time reversal on this signal, then what will we get? Time reversal means, okay, these parts will be reversed. So this part, it will come to this side. Okay, and this one. Okay, and this part it will go to this side. Okay, so this one. Okay, so this is my x of minus t, time reversal. Okay, now we perform the second operation. Second operation is amplitude reversal. Okay, so amplitude reversal, if I perform the amplitude reversal on this signal, so now I will reflect around the horizontal axis. So this part, okay, so time amplitude reversal means, for example, here if it is having minus 1, so now it will become plus 1. Okay, and for example, if it's having plus 2 here, now it will become minus 2 here. Okay, and this part, it's having, for example, +1, it will become -1, and this -2, it will become +2. Okay, so if you see this signal and this original signal, they are same. So like if you are getting the original signal after performing two operations, time reversal and the amplitude reversal, then such signal is called odd signal. So if you are just getting the original signal with only time reversal, it's called even signal. Okay, so even signals are basically antisymmetric signals. Okay, so these are the two basic characteristics of the even and odd signal. Okay. So some basic definitions: if you are adding two even signals, you will get an even signal. If you add two odd, you will get an odd signals. Okay, so these are just some basic definitions. The next important thing is about you get you have one original signal. Okay, you can get its even part. Okay, which is just the time reversal. You can also get its odd part. Odd part is what? Time reversal and then amplitude reversal. Okay, so if you combine even part and odd part, okay, you will get your original signal. Okay, so this is the basic definition. For every signal, if you have its even part and if you have its odd part, you can get the original signal. Okay, and if you have the original signal and you just want to calculate the even part, okay, so we can calculate by just dividing the original signal and adding its time reversal part. So if we just add the original signal and its time reversal part and divide it by 2, we will get the even part of the signal. And if we just add for the odd part, what will be happening? Half of original signal, and we will add the what is the properties of the odd one? Time reversal and this one, minus x of minus t. So if we add these two things, we will get the odd part of the signal. So if you want to calculate the even and odd part of the signals, and if you know the original signals, we can just apply this thing. Okay, original signal is time reversal, original signal is time and amplitude reversal, and half of that. Okay, so we will get the actual original signal. So this is one example. Okay, this is my original signal, this is its time reversal. Okay, and this is its even part. Even part is what? Half of original signal plus its time reversal, and this is its odd part. Okay, odd part will be what? Half of original signal plus amplitude and the time reversal part of that signal. Okay, so then we will get the odd part, and if you add even and odd, you will get this original signal. Okay, so try to redraw this signal at home, then we will discuss this in the live session. We will draw this in details during the live session, but try to do this yourself. Okay, so the second property is the characteristics of the signal is the periodic or aperiodic signal. Okay, periodic or aperiodic signal means, for example, let's say we are having a sine wave. Okay, so the sine wave is actually what happening. This is the one cycle of the sine wave, right? And after this one cycle, this is being repeated. This is the one cycle. Okay, this is the one cycle. And after this one cycle, okay, this waveform is repeating. Okay, the same cycle, this one. And again here, let me draw more cycles. For example, this is one cycle, you have another cycle, you have another cycle, and so on. Okay, so like after one cycle, the waveform is being repeated. If the signal had such characteristics, okay, it's called periodic signal. Okay, so periodic signal means, okay, like if we talk about in the definition of the time shifting, okay, so let's say this is my original signal. So this is my t minus 1 signal, this is t minus 2 signal. Okay, so all signal are same. Okay, so x of t is basically equal to x of t minus 1, x of t minus 2, x of t minus 3, and same goes for in the backward. Okay, so like x of t plus 1 and so on. Okay, So in general form, okay, if your original signal is equal to this time shifted part, okay, so that signal will be a periodic signal, and this time shifted, okay, this is called the period of the signal. Okay, so we know that this is a period, and we can calculate the frequency of the signal by just taking the inverse of the time period. Okay, so this is called periodic signal. Some very important definitions here which I want to highlight. So the first thing is we can calculate the frequency by just taking the inverse of the time period. Okay, so this is called frequency. Then we have angular frequency. These are very important things for this chapter. Angular frequency we usually represent using omega, and it is 2 pi f. Okay, we can convert the linear frequency to the angular frequency by 2 pi f. Okay, or we can write 2 pi over t, because f is 1 over t. Okay, and usually, for example, we write, for example, cosine of usually cosine signal is in this form, cosine of omega t. Okay, so let's say, for example, cosine of 2t. So here in this case omega is 2. Okay, so for example, if omega is given, omega is 2, and you have to calculate the time period. So we can calculate time period by just time period. So this omega will be coming here. So 2 pi over omega. So 2 pi over 2 pi. Okay, so the time period of this signal is pi. Okay, so it means this cosine signal, okay, it is repeating after pi time. Okay, so this is the way to calculate the time period, and the same strategies will be applied for the, like if you are having the sequence or the discrete signal. Okay, so discrete signal will be like this one. Okay, just can in the similar fashion. Okay, so if you want to calculate the frequency for the discrete signal, it will be 1 over n, and the angular frequency it will be 2 pi over n. Here we have 2 pi over t, here we are having 2 pi over n. Okay, so we can go for the same strategy. Okay, and if the signal is not following, it's not like repeating after the fixed time period, okay, that signal is called aperiodic signal. Okay, if the signal is repeating after a fixed time period, it will be a periodic signal, and if it is not repeating after a fixed time period, it will be a aperiodic signal. Okay, so these are very important things, that how you can calculate the angular frequency, how you can calculate the frequency, and other things. Okay, so remember these things, very important things. Okay, again this is an example of the periodic signal. So like you can see that this signal is, for example, this part of the signal is being repeated. Okay, like here, and then go on, and then go on. So this is a periodic signal. This signal is periodic or not? This signal is periodic or not? This signal is periodic or not? This is periodic or not? So review this, and I will ask during the live session that whether these signals are periodic or not. Okay, so these are examples for you for your homework. So just check like whether these signals are periodic or not, and what is the the time period of this signal for periodic. What is the time period of this signal, this sequence, discrete signal, for like whether it's a periodic or not. Okay, so the basic property of the periodic signal is the time period. Okay, and we also call this as fundamental period. Okay, and then from the time period we know that we can calculate the frequency, and frequency will be called as fundamental frequency of that signal. So these are very important characteristics. Okay, so for example, now let's say you have this is one signal which is periodic, and you have another signal, let's say this is x1 of t, you have another signal x2 of t, okay, which is also periodic. Now if you add these two signals, okay, let's say your output is another signal, okay, by just adding. So this addition, okay, it will be periodic or not? Okay, the addition of the two signals will be periodic or not, and if it is periodic, what will be the fundamental time period of those signals? Like if you are adding multiple signals, your net output signals, it will be periodic or not. If it is periodic, then what will be its fundamental time period? Okay, this is very important thing. Okay, very basic definitions and very important definitions. Okay, now let's see how we can analyze this thing. Okay, so like if you are getting output from the two signals, let's say, and let's say the time period of this first signal is t1 and the time period of the second signal, those are periodic and it's t1 and t2. Okay, now you want to check that whether this your output signal is periodic or not. Okay, so then what will you do? Okay, you will take the ratio of these two time periods. Okay, so let's say you take the ratio and you get, for example, 4/3. Okay, so you will get a ratio of the integers. Okay, ratio of these 4 and 3 are integers, right? Okay, so if you get the ratio of the integer, this is also called as rational number. Okay, so if you are getting the ratio, okay, of 4/3, okay, in the form of integer and its rational number, then your output y of t, okay, it will be a periodic. So what is the basic definition? Calculate the time periods of each signal and then take their ratios. And if the ratio is in the form of integers, okay, for example, pi is not an integer. Okay, it's a rational number. Okay, so if you are getting the ratio, for example, if you get the ratio like this 4/3, okay, this is not the ratio of integers. Okay, and our signal will be aperiodic. Okay, so if your ratio is in the form of the integer, then your summation signal will be periodic signal. Okay, and now if you want to calculate the fundamental period of this signal, let's say t. Okay, let me use another color. Fundamental period of this signal. Okay, so we can calculate the fundamental period of this signal by multiplying these two. Like 3 could be multiplied with T1, that will be fundamental, or you can multiply this with this one, 4 into T2. That will be the fundamental period of this my output signal. Okay, so we have 3 steps here if you want to check that your output signal is periodic or not. First one is calculate the time periods of the original signals. Second one is take their ratio. If the ratio is in the form of integers, like two integers like 4/3, okay, then your signal is periodic, otherwise aperiodic. If it is aperiodic, then the third step is calculation of the fundamental time period of the original signal. So we can calculate by multiplying like this r with this one, or this q, the integer with this is the summary. Very important thing. Okay, the calculation of the time period, ratios, and then just calculating the fundamental time period. Okay, so we will solve these examples, okay, during the live session. So we have 3 signals, this one, x1, x2, and x3, and we are adding them, they are being summed. Okay, so y of t is actually what? X1 of t, x2 of t, and x3 of t, and we have to find that whether this output signal y of t, okay, is periodic or not. Okay, so try this thing at your home. Okay, just check that these signals are periodic or not. Okay, so you just have to calculate the time period of this one, the time period of this one, and the time period of this one, and then just take the ratios. This one, and if your ratios are rational number, the ratios of integers, then your signals will be periodic. Okay, so check this thing at home, and if they are periodic, then we will try to find the fundamental period. Okay, so we will do this during the live session, but try to find the periods and their ratios at your home. Okay, very important example. Some more basic characteristics, okay, of the signals. Okay, so we can characterize the signals in the right-sided and the left-sided signal. Okay, for example, if your signal is just existing in the right side, okay, like you can see here, just towards the right side, okay, so it could also be in this form, okay, just existing in the right side. So this is called right-sided signal. Okay, so my signal is let's say this is x of t, this is 0 and this is t. So my signal x of t is 0, okay, for all time periods which are less than 0 here. Okay, so in this region my signal is actually 0. So this I can write in mathematical form that my signal is 0 for all time periods which is less than this t naught, for example -2. For all time period less than -2, my signal is 0. So this is called right-sided signal. Okay. This is also called as unit step signal. We will see later on. Okay. What is the unit step signal? Okay. And if your signal is going towards the left side, okay, like this one, so this will be left-sided signal. Okay. What will be the mathematical definition? X of t is 0 in this region. Okay. For what? When t is greater than t naught. Okay, and if you combine, okay, the right side and the left side signal, okay, for example these two, okay, so we will get this kind of signal. Okay, so this is called finite duration, okay, or time limited signal. This is called finite duration because it is existing just for a very short time. Okay, for example from -2 to 2, finite duration or time limited signal. Okay, so by combining left and right side signal we can get the finite duration. This signal is actually called as rectangular signal. We will see more details later on, rectangular signals, okay, in the next lecture. Okay, and another property of the signal is said to be bounded. Bounded means if it is magnitude, for example this is my sine wave, okay, so the sine wave is bounded by this amplitude, for example 2 minus 2. So if the signal is within a specific amplitude, okay, we will say that our signal is bounded. So mathematically we can write that the magnitude, so these symbols are called magnitude of the signal are less than a specific value. For example in this case magnitude is less than 2. Okay, so this is called magnitude of the signal. Okay, and if we have a periodic signal, for example this is x of t, so we can calculate the energy of the signal. Okay, so energy of signal is usually calculated by just integrating the magnitude square of the signal, okay, for the complete the period for which the signal is existing. For example this signal is going from -infinity to infinity, so we will just integrate, we will take the magnitude square of that and then just integrate, that will be energy of the signal. And if you want to calculate the power of the signal, so we will do the same thing, we will first calculate the energy of the signal, okay, but the difference is here, now we will integrate for the one time period only, okay, for example from -t/2 to t/2, okay, and then we will divide with the that time period. Okay, so integrate for the one cycle and divide with that cycle period, and we will get the power of the signal. Okay, so these are the just basic characteristics, the calculations of the basic definitions, properties of the signals. Okay, whether it's an, so if we can calculate the energy, so if the energy is at some specific value, for example 2 joule, 3 joule, okay, something like that, our signal will be energy signal. And if it has power of, for example 2 watts, 3 watt, that will be our power signal. Okay, so we can characterize the signal in terms of the different forms: energy signals, power signals, left bounded signals, right bounded signals, okay, finite duration or time limited signals, okay, So these are the different characteristics, periodic signals, aperiodic signals, so different definition, different characteristics of the signal. So that's end for this part of the lecture. Thank you very much for your attention.